All right. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was dealing with registration for a kid. He got put in the wrong class, and we were like, "No, no, no. He does not need the Project Runway class." Of the two kids, Asher is definitely not a kid that wants to sew, and yeah, sew and do Project Runway is not Asher. Um, Thankfully, we checked. Yes, Jinjin. So little one is on my lap today. She decided that this is where she wanted to sit today for chart school. So if you hear a little voice, that will be why. We'll see. We can kind of roll through things. Um, Interesting morning so far. A lot of headlines actually just flooded through with kind of some of the ECB news. You'll see ECB is currently implementing economy-wide climate stress tests. Talking about interest rates, they say monetary policy depends on the medium-term inflation outlook. So a lot of stuff is coming through the wire right now. So, it's kind of interesting. We'll see. Remember, ECB president is speaking at 10 o'clock today, so in about 25 minutes, we'll see that one kick in. Um, Thus far this morning, we've had great, Canadian data. Although, again, on any other day, if we didn't have FOMC and it wasn't supposed to be a big deal, this would have been a great move. And again, you're seeing, shh, you're seeing, minus 14 pips in 24 hours. It's an interesting chart. I don't know. It was already pushing to the downside. We were really looking for somewhat of a rollover. I mean, again, it's kind of doing what it's supposed to be doing, but again, it's just a shame that the retail sales number is on the same day as FOMC, and there's kind of all eyes on that. So because that again, 4.8 versus 3.5 and 4.8 versus 4.0, those are great numbers, and Canada continues to jump ahead. Now, I will say there was an article I read that basically, if the United States remains unchanged, they said that Canada definitely won't raise. Reason why is because they don't want to put themselves at a disadvantage. But it's kind of it's kind of one of those things. It's like I don't know if their entire economy. I mean, like, why take the lead from the United States if you can have recovery work out better without following us? Like do it yourself, right? Different economic policy. I mean, everything's different. So, and again, that would really bring the dollar Canadian down if they start raising and if they're the first ones. It would actually make it an interesting scenario too for Canada. Because remember, as you raise your interest rates, it technically becomes more attractive, right, for people to send money towards your country, right? Because if they have their money in the bank, they can actually get some type of an interest rate off of it. So if Canada's first, Canada's already one of those countries that is it has a lot of foreign investment. They have rules for foreign investment that kind of like stifle it and things like that. So it's shh. Um, it would be interesting if Canada goes first. It may put them back into I don't know, maybe back into like a carry mode trade. I mean, I guess CAD yen could potentially be the new carry trade. And we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of different things we can do. So we'll find out more as that one kind of unfolds. But again, crude oil inventory 10:30 today. API number was high. I think it was like 4 million surplus is what they were talking about. FOMC at 2 o'clock. Press conference at 2:30. I think they're going to have to mention inflation today. We've just seen much more than expected. So I feel like it's there. Are they going to announce what the raise is going to be? I doubt it. Or when it's going to be. But I think they're going to give us a little bit more of an aggressive stance on it. So, we'll see. But that's going to kind of suck everything in today. And then tomorrow morning early, you'll see the advanced GDP for the U.S. And again, GDP rates are moving, right? Advanced GDP price index, GDP is moving faster than the price index, and the unemployment claims number is supposed to be about where it was last time. So all those will kick in before we talk tomorrow. So, yeah, not a bad day. Dollar yen still continuing to go higher, and I think that will continue to push up. Wondering if that's pushed enough though that we're going to get a retracement later, and a lot of this is also the yen. I mean, you can see pound yen is also what big, but is the pound getting strength? I mean, it's okay. It's 2 in 24 hours for this one, and you're seeing it's down versus the dollar. So it's more of a yen scenario because again, your two biggest movers on the board are dollar yen and pound yen. Aussie down 31. Again, you guys all know that one from last night. That was the the bad CPI data. Again, came quite lower than expected. Even the trim was much lower. But again, quarter over quarter is always important. You know, could be another reason why we're seeing the movement we do, particularly in gold. So I think that the Fed is probably watching this one. And again, remember, FOMC is purely based off the U.S., not a global recovery. But Australia has done well lately, so I think this is going to be surprising to a lot of people. And again, as you're restarting your economy and recovery, kind of makes sense. And remember, they've been trading barbs for the entire quarter with China, and now they're finally making peace with that as well. China's now the peacemaker. They're making, China has signaled support in negotiations on a digital tax. China and there's an olive branch between China and Australia. So I don't know. We're just going to tax everybody, and China is like the savior at this point. So I think we're handing it to them on a plate at this point. And that's it as far as the news goes. So let's just jump right over. We'll go into charts. So here's Aussie dollar. You can see your big, the big drop down over here last night. Down into a level. And again, it's a level that's been tested a few times. Looking at this level, let me put the stamp on it here. So 77.25 or 77.245, whatever. We're right in that same zone. At this point, it's now been, again, we had our placement. We've pushed deep. I mean, this has gone, and again, I'll make this bigger so you guys can see. We've pushed this thing literally to the brink. So at this point, although I don't like to go short, again, it is kind of right on the borderline between blue and green. I do think looking at this, there's a small little area that I think we can have a hiccup off of, but that could also set up for that Harry Potter push down, retrace, and then push lower. So it's not necessarily an area I'm willing to get long off of because, again, it has hit it so many times. I just don't feel like there's many buyers left on this one. It will be interesting to see, and we're sitting, only about 11 pips high. So we can absolutely, without a doubt, clear this kind of 20 pips down, maybe grab this level here at a 77.16 and then pull back up again. I think this one has the potential for a big drop. And again, kind of lined up with FOMC. And it's one of those ones, we'll have to see what the spreads look like at that time, how much volatility is going to be there. But I think, again, I do believe that today's message will be more of a dollar strength, talking about how, again, they're going to say that it's transient, all the inflation. But if they make a comment about how it's more than expected, or anything about we'll control it, or I just feel that we can get dollar. I feel like it would be very easy to get dollar strength today. Because if they repeat all the same things that they've read before, that they've said before that, oh yeah, recovery's coming along, we're going to continue to support, for as long as we need to. I mean, these are all the same messages. I feel like the surprise is on the dollar strength side, which again, Aussie dollar tanks down. We come from here over down. Okay, that's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm looking at targets down here. It's 76.87 when that finally kicks in. So there's kind of my take on that one. And again, if it kind of bounces and kind of comes around, there's not much we can do for it. I'm hoping that we're down there by FOMC, and I'm assuming that's what it'll kind of get sucked down into because that's the last time buyers have really, really stepped in. Top side, again, there's a couple small levels up top. I don't know. I mean, I guess we rally back up. I guess we could take something small if we had something in this level here. And again, it's about the same movement on that one. Yeah, it's about 11 pips higher. So, the open is not really doing much. It's kind of whipsawing back and forth. See how it goes at lunchtime. Again, that's where the positioning will happen. So I would like to get short this position either way before FOMC day. Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, I mentioned this earlier today. Here's that 9 o'clock last night. This should have been an easy grab for you guys. You had basing, you had to push, you had to retest it and push back down again. And it came right back up into that level and then boom, tank right back down. Here's a start of a move. And again, same start here, either place. Nice little 30 pips in 15 minutes. You're out, you're done. And we've had the retracement back up to the candle behind. So it's kind of done everything it's done. Hasn't been exciting. I guess it was exciting for 15 minutes, and then it just kind of was like, a slow grind back up again. The girl's off. She's playing with her cars. I could get back to my coffee. I was like, I can't get to my coffee. So yeah, kind of the same scenario for this one. Again, we have this level here. Really a break below 84.11 if we can get down there. Now, Aussie yen is not so much the same as the Aussie dollar, but I do think it is in a kind of a similar situation. I still like the 84.66 up top. Again, that's a piece way up there. We talked about getting all the way up, and again, it didn't get quite as high, but again, you had two tests on this one, very easy to see. I like that, and again, I like overall profits down here at 83 83.77 with an eventual kind of potential buy down here at 83.52. So it more or less same thing. I'm kind of thinking bearish, right, for the Aussie, particularly with that CPI data. Um, Wondering what else will come in as well. Excuse me, man. I had to like finish the baby's yogurt off, and now I'm like I'm like burping blueberry yogurt. It's like, oh, I like me some blueberries, but come on. Um, so yeah, I mean, question is too, could you take a small short there later on, having kind of the carryover effect from the Aussie dollar going down? You could, sure, yeah, you could, but just understand that the yen is also involved with this one, and again, yen is going to mirror the indices. Okay, but again, it may be the better of the two to trade. We'll see when you get a little bit closer. Now, euro pound is basically flat. Again, we're in the same spot. We are what 3 pips from where we were this time yesterday. Now, I did get some movement up and kind of came back down again, and we've basically just been going sideways. I mean, it's if we drew this from here to here, I mean, look how many times we've touched, right? Down, up, kind of consolidated down, up. When it broke through and it almost grabbed the entry and then came right back up to that same level, up here at the 70, 87, and then dropped back down, went back up, came back up, and dropped back down again. So it's kind of a sideways channel. I wouldn't say that this one is a big one. Um, Really top or bottom. I mean, we're talking about swings of about 15 pips. It looks great in the chart. Like I can make it like, oh my God, look at this movement. It's awesome, guys. Wow, look at this. You're getting rich. No, I mean, we're talking about, top to bottom here. We're talking about 15, 17 pips. With a spread of 1 to 2, it's kind of like, like 2 probably. 1.5, I guess, is what it's linked right now. I think that is on Oanda. It should be Oanda. I've linked my, yeah, it's Oanda. I've linked my Oanda account. So I'm not currently taking live trades on TradingView, not yet, but I have linked the data in, and you guys know I trade live through Oanda, so it's kind of like, it's getting tempting every time. The more and more I mess with TradingView, the more I'm like, I could potentially take it over here. So I don't know if any of you guys are taking lives on TradingView, but it's kind of like, yeah, we're getting there, right? We're getting there. And you guys can see down here. I don't know if you can see it at the bottom or not. It says paper trading. I set it up. I'm like, all right, let me try to place trades. Let me see how I like it. Let me see how I like the execution. And it's not bad. Got to say, it's better than what I thought it was going to be. So I was kind of happy about that. And remember, anytime you guys try out a new platform, always do it in demo or paper trading mode, so you make sure you understand the mechanics and you're comfortable with the entries and executions, because it is different on every single platform. Okay, I know a lot of you guys have said that before, but again, that is the only time that I am okay with paper trading and demo trading, is when you're switching platforms, to make sure that you understand all the mechanics correctly. All right. Right now, still waiting for 87.44, and again, downside 86.67. I think either of those two is still fine. We can actually, let me go back up to 30-minute. Right there. We'll put this. Really, that was kind of the lower one. Let's just put it to the lower one. We're going to use the red back there. Be a little bit more conservative on that one. All right. So that's all we got. I don't even really have a great short area. I mean, there's a small piece here, but nothing that I'm I'm married to. Yeah, 86.68 is the next one. I'm looking for much. Euro. So Euro, I am looking for it to collapse. Again, we were waiting for a top. We didn't have it yesterday. Again, bearish thinking. Do I have the top that I like here? Not really. Again, you guys know the candles that I like. This is not one of the candle formations that I like. I will say that you can see that there is definitely a lot of stabilization on this level here. So maybe this is kind of that Harry Potter, and we'll take a bounce from this level when it eventually breaks. And again, this will take some yen help. Right now, the yen is just not doing much. But I will say this, okay? Look at the euro yen right now, right? And this is more or less sideways, right? Looking at the pound yen, you're seeing kind of the same effect. And then the Aussie yen, kind of the same thing. So all of them are hinged, or quite high. They're all kind of set up for the same thing. If we get any type of yen strength whatsoever, and again, FOMC can provide that, they're all kind of set up in the same area for some type of a collapse. So, again, let's see, how much is this? Yeah, we're talking about a 10 pip range here. So, it could be something for the rest of the week. And again, we're hearing a lot of chatter, and ECB president is about to speak in about 10 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, there's probably something there. Again, like I said, I'd like to see a push and a pullback for this one, not just taking it. But this is more or less a parabolic move up into a higher time frame zone, looking for a top. And we kind of have the top, But if anything, it's more about breaking this stabilization point here. So it's probably not bad. Let's see, where would it run down to? Whoops. Nope, not that one. I need this one. Let's see if we have enough room here. Yeah, I mean your 3-to-1's right there. That's a decent place for your 3-to-1. So yeah, so it's set. A break at that level. So not bad. Maybe something to watch for later. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, absolutely, I feel is going to move, but it's going right down the middle of that channel. So we talked about 121.06 and 120.28. Again, I still think both of those are valid areas. You're gonna get tired of me hearing this, or you're gonna get tired of hearing me say this. I would have liked it to be in either of those two zones before FOMC. My level of confidence that is going to move from now till then to those levels before FOMC is getting smaller and smaller by the second. I was really hoping that we would break out through here. I was really hoping that this would just continue to collapse down. I think it's the same top or bottom, right? Yeah, 37, 37. It's literally smack down in the middle between those two levels. Again, not only we are in the higher time frame blue area, we're in the lower time frame blue area, and we're just stuck, and it's literally just chopping back and forth. At 24 hours, it's moved 22, and it's like, oh, that's good, right? I mean, it was this, and then we've done really nothing. So, yeah, as much as I would love to play this one today, I just feel like this is not going to give us the entry that we want. I do feel that it is. I mean, again, I'm a bit. I've mentioned it before. I do feel a bit more. I don't know, dollar bullish today. So I do feel like that this will come down, but I would have liked to have been up in a level to be able to get a kind of a pre-trade. I feel like if we're down here, it's going to stab through. Once we get too close, I mean, this is a tiny 30-minute level. It's not going to hold against FOMC. On the if it's still above and spikes through, it's not going to hold. It's not that type of level. It's a level that we could excuse me. It's a level we can use as kind of a pre-point, but not a post. Okay. So I'd still watch those two if we can hold. Right now, pound yen, kind of the same idea. This was a level we talked about, the 51.11. Actually, it's a 51.13, and you can see it turned around right beforehand, kind of came up and has really been kind of stuck in this level. There's a few small levels up here, and again, it's kind of one of those like, there's a level. You guys know my feeling on this one. I still feel that the pound is going to go higher. I think everything that the pound has going is great. We kind of have a level. It's kind of here. Right, and maybe that's where we would take this actually short from. But again, for me, it's kind of hard to bet against the pound. I think 51.93 is a decent level. There was a very, very strong push off of that, and here's just a bunch of little pullbacks. But I just think right now, I mean, why step in front of the pound? Everything we've heard is good. I just feel that they've really got it figured out right now, and it's funny too because. Person that I follow on Instagram is from the UK, and they were asked a question about because they travel a lot, and they're like, oh, would you rather travel right now or be in your home country? And they were like, oh, my home country's a complete nightmare. It's a mess right now. And I'm like, really? Because I mean, they got COVID figured out. I'm like, everything looks pretty good for them. Ooh, big spider. Don't know where he went. Hold on. Baby's pointing and like, oh look. Big spider, Daddy. I'm like, oh, okay. What's under the keyboard? It's one of those like jumping spiders. And I feel bad, like I'm not like an anti-spider person, but like, hold on. Yep, sorry, dude. If you were outside, I would left you alone, but not on my desk. Sorry. What a bad way to go. I'm a murderer. He's gone. He's dead. Crushed. He's out. Spidey sense tingling, no more. So I think 51.93, guys, is a decent short, but I do think this one continues to rise. It's got a bit more for there. It's about 70 more pips. I don't know if it'll hit it today, but like I said, I still like this one. Let me see. The rest of the week, do we have anything big pound wise? Yeah, we don't have anything really. Yeah, there's no pound news the rest of the week, so unless suddenly COVID goes absolutely insane, which I think they got a pretty good read on, I think we're good. I think this one goes up for the rest of the week. Pound dollar. Now this one again is pretty much just as ugly as the euro. Not quite as bad. It does have a little bit more. I mean, this is about a 28 pip difference here. And again, if we take kind of the peak yesterday up and back at 60, it's still going down the middle. And again, if I did that kind of intraday curve between these two levels, you can see it's kind of the same thing, although at least it keeps flirting with a green level. This will be interesting because the pound is a strength-based pair right now. So I don't know. I almost want this to come down in preparation for FOMC. If we can get down here, this is one of those cases where it's kind of like I do think it's going to be a dollar strength today, but if this pushes down, it's kind of like, and God forbid they're wrong, and the market sentiment is very, very negative on the dollar, this will skyrocket. I mean, this could go from this 38.42 level all the way up. That's 100 pips. It could do that 100 pips in the 2 hours from FOMC timeframe. It has enough power right now that it could definitely do that. A lot of them don't. This one could do it if we got that low. So kind of looking forward to it. It's 10 o'clock, unfortunately. So we got 4 hours to go here. But do like how this is setting up. And again, how much would we need to move? We need to move 40 pips down. It's possible, but it's going to have to turn quick here. It's going to have to be a 10-10-30 reversal, and then it's going to have to move through lunch. Or they're just a bit. I mean, a 30-minute ATR right now is 12. We need to move 40, so it's basically 4 hours. Yeah, we need a little bit of help on that one. But I think this could be a 100 pip mover from FOMC today, without doubt. Dollar CAD, man. It's trying. It wants to go down there so bad. Look at this. It's like bam, 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 bam. But it did finally push a little bit lower. It did finally break through. So again, this could be the takeoff point to the downside. I was hoping we'd push all the way down because I wanted us to be down here for FOMC. It's not going to happen. We're still way too far away. Something absolutely insane would have to happen for it to move 80 pips from now till then. But again, this one now is also setting up, and I can continue this across, and we can turn this actually yellow because it's not a long area. This is setting up for kind of a short as well, right? I mean, the Canadian data was bad this morning. I'm sorry, it was very, very good, and this barely moved, right? It barely moved. If we can combine this with an extremely weak dollar movement, kind of like what we're kind of seeing here as well, this one, that's where we get our runner, right? That's where we get our runner. And again, it's all going to depend on how the market takes and dissects what they say, the language that they use. I feel that it's time to get hawkish, but right now we have two different pairs setting up in a bearish position. So the way to play this one today is going to be to look at this about 130, see if we've based, see if we've, I don't know, maybe we've rallied back up into the upper sections here again. Also setting up in a different, an interesting position. Again, looks like it wants to come down. And remember, the 123.15 and the 122.51, this is basically used, it's an hourly 4-hour level down here. Okay, so it's a big level. And again, we're within striking distance of it. So like it for a long low. I mentioned yesterday, I think we need to grind down with good Canadian data, and the Canadian data was kind of they just ignored it. It was like there was no Canadian data that existed. So, which is kind of funny, right? Because I mean, this is really good. I mean, it was expected to be better before, but this is much better than expected, both core and retail. So that's good data, right? That's good data, and the response was here. There's your response. At 8:30. This little kind of, I don't know if you guys can see it. Right there, 8:30. There's your really, really good data. And it kind of went up and pulled back down again. So basically the market was like, we're not going to pay attention, right? So it's going to be all dollar. But I'll tell you right now, weak dollar combined with this will drop, okay? Now, dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss had an interesting position. So here's where we are now. So this was really starting from, I guess, yesterday, but here's kind of where this first pick back, it grabbed it. This was late last night, and really it started taking off and getting legs around, this 2-3 o'clock in the morning, right? Huge quick spike up, and this is 2 hours worth of movement from here to the top. It's only 27 pips, but again, we knew there was a level up there, and again, we had a couple touches in there. It had a one candle kind of sideways base right here, and then just boom, collapsed all the way back down to the start of the move. So Definitely an interesting runner. I don't know. I mean, this is one of those ones. If you had taken it in spot and put your stop loss here, you would have gotten stopped out on it. It did go stop. It went about 3.5, 4 pips beyond. So I mean, it's definitely more than the spread. So it would have been one of those cases that you probably would have got stopped had you taken it. But then again, if you were taking it at that European Open, which was actually the European Open was here at 3 o'clock, it's a very big spike to have the European Open turn and send it right back down. So it's little movement. So um, unfortunately, it threw us right back in the middle of the curve. I think right now the cleanest entries we have on this one are still this area up top, the 91.97. If we get a break below this, right here, the 91.22, I think there's a decent short in that one. And again, profit targets for me would be down here in the 90.83. It's a bit of ways. Yeah, it needs to drop 23 pips from now till 2 p.m. Again, that would also be a dollar weakness play coming back down in the 90.83 range. So, got to see. It's lined up. It's going to be an if this, then that. We'll see, if it provides for us or not. Now, dollar yen is one of those ones that it's going up higher and higher and higher. We talked about 109 being a big area. We talked about this one being a break of, I mean, again, this was over yesterday, of this 108.53. It never gave us the pullback. It did give us a pullback into the base here. So some of you may have been able to get long out of that one right there. Whoops. Some of you guys may have gotten it long. And again, the rule is for the Harry Potters, it's a push away and a pullback, right? And then you use that level of risk. This one gave us a base pullback and gave us that artificial level, and that would have been your takeoff point. 109, though, was, psychological level. We talked about it gets sucked into there. It's pushed up, it's hit it, it's on a failure to go higher, and it's starting to grind back to the downside. Again, I think this one was in preparation for FOMC. This was pre-market movement. So, that's Canada being polite. They don't want to blow their yeah, right. They don't want to blow their horn. Exactly, right. Yeah. My wife's like, we're not the nicest people. I was like, no, you're not the nicest person. She's like, ha ha. But yeah, so I mean, remember, their news is not going to be as blockbuster as ours. I just think everybody is so focused on the dollar, inflation, and gold. It really doesn't matter what happens anywhere else. And it just, the the Canadian economy is much, much smaller. They're not as much a controlling factor. But I mean, understand one of the other reasons why Canada's in a great place. Do you know what? Besides oil, do you know what Canada's second biggest export is, or what they're known for? Lumber. If you guys have looked at lumber prices, they're astronomical right now because recovery, infrastructure, building, new homes, that kind of stuff. Those are all lumber driven. A lot of lumber comes from Canada. So again, being a commodity based exporter, pretty nice place to be. It's kind of like Australia and China. That's what Canada does for us. Okay. But yeah, this one, I see this one coming back down. Make sure you have your profit targets out before, by 108.58 to the downside. But that was a level that we called yesterday, actually, and Monday. Doggy coin. I see it's up 12% today. I was trying to link it. I was curious to see. And again, now the Tesla has, and this is where I think Elon's eventually going to get busted. So he's like, yeah, we've made what? What did I see? Like, they purchased 1.5, and now they're up at like 2.1 or something like that, or 2.5. They made like $1 billion off of Bitcoin so far, and they're starting to sell it. Originally, they were like, oh, we're not going to transfer it back. It's just for those payments. But now they're making so much money, and it's helping their bottom line. It's not on the mark to market, but it does help them that they've showed that they have a huge. We have record profits. It's like because you sold Bitcoin, but at the same time, you also made comments to raise the price of Bitcoin. So it's kind of like their comments have now taken a company, a publicly traded company, and have augmented the profits with it. So at what point is he going to get busted? 100. No, I think 100 million was just in that 1 month, right? Because they paid 1.5. No, 100 million. 101 million was the amount that they sold for profit, but the actual position is worth like a whole bunch more than that. Because they're actually originally, remember, they weren't going to sell it, and it wasn't going to put back into cash. It was just so they could have the payment system established, right? So they could take it. But now that they're starting to sell it and take profit like it's an investment, now it's different. And again, did Bitcoin's price was it helped by Elon talking about it and setting it up? I mean, he owns it, his company owns it, right? I mean, that's kind of market manipulation, right? I mean, that's basically what it is. It's almost like insider trading to some extent. So I feel like he's playing with fire. And it's the same thing with the Dogecoin. Anyway, here's the yes for the day. Let's drop it down to the 15-minute charts. Boom, boom, boom. So, not, hey, stop. No more snakes. We're good. Go lay in the bed. Uh, Not surprised. Again, we're kind of moving sideways. We're chopping through the top. I think, again, with that extremely weak, if we get a very weak, dovish response today, that the inflation, it's all going to go away. This is going to be, we want to extend it. I mean, if they really harp on the fact that they're not going to do anything for a really, really long time, and even then, it's going to be moderate. They're going to let it run hot. I mean, this is all great. I think today's the day we hit 4,200. And I know I've been saying it, but again, an FOMC day where they're extremely weak, and again, multiple charts have been lining up for that. It's kind of there. I just, if they give us that strong dollar push though, that's an interest rate thing. I think this comes and rolls back to the downside. I think that it'll be kind of one of those like hammered types of scenarios. But right now, there's just not a lot in there. This is not a great place to get short. There's a bunch of small areas and buyers in here. Um, you know, 41.64. It's 20 points down. Is that an area where we buy from? Maybe if it was pre-news, but we're floating right in between kind of that all-time high target and kind of this last area of buyers coming into demand. Is this level? Is this kind of this 5 point range? Is that gonna save us from an FOMC interest rate kind of hawkish stance? No, no, it'll be kind of to the races. So, unfortunately, ES I think is not going to be the one to play. But again, I do think this has the ability. And again, if you get something cheap, I don't even know. Like, let me see. Now I'm really curious. What was I trying to type here? Oh, Nadex. Let's see. Let me log in real quick. Binaries, indices, S&P. I'm just curious. Yeah, there's a 4204. 4204. There's one right at this level for like $18. So they're expecting some movement today too. And you know what? It was probably much, much cheaper down here. I mean, there was the 41.98, which is $28. Yeah, before when this kind of spiked down, we probably could have got that one pretty cheap for like $15. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things with a super weak movement. Again, there was a binary down there for it. Let me see. What's the 41? It looks like there's a 41.68. There's a 41.68, which is right here. Oops. And that's like $18 worth of risk. Right? So $18. Let me see. I'll just put some text on this one. Where is it? My text. You know what? I think this gets messed up. Let's do it this way. What did I say on that one? On the 42. Oh, wait. Bottom is 16. Hold on one sec, guys. Did I make this 16 or 18? Text. This is 16. Top side is 18. And again, you could have got this one much cheaper. Could have got it cheaper earlier today. Let's see. 415. Just throw it right there. Right there. Curious to see what kind of spike we get on that one. Like I said, we touch either of those two lines, you'd be able to make two or three times the money, 2 or 3 times the risk on that one. But right now, again, we're smack in the middle. But yeah, when it was down here, that was probably really cheap. You would have been able to get into. You would have been able. What's the next one? It was 41.98, which is there. 41. 98. Let's make this blue. Okay. That would have been the one from basically from the open. Okay. All right, let's go across the NQ. So NQ is bouncing back and forth. Look at this. We missed this by just a little tiny bit. So close. 31,881. And again, you can see it's just skyrocketing right now. Let's see. What was the news? Did we get something at 10? Just ECB. It's too early to determine if worse economic crisis has passed. Huh. That's interesting. So much better picture than Yellen. Huh. It's kind of It's too early to determine if the worst economic effects of the COVID crisis have passed. Interesting. Interesting. And again, they're still having issues with a third wave, but very interesting. Hmm. Not what I expected from her today. Huh. Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Anyway, again, I think NQ stands to bounce higher. Like we mentioned yesterday, the 14,042 was kind of this level up top that we were looking to break through the top on. And same thing, if they're going to let these things run, any comments like what I just read to you, that we don't know if the worst is here yet. If Powell says that, that means they are keeping these low interest rates for a really long time. And even if it's, even though it sounds like a scary statement, all the data has shown the exact opposite. Now, not that data and science matters anymore, right? But again, interesting setup there with that kind of rally up. Now, a push through this level, and again, I can just take this across. I mean, it's the same level we talked about breaking before. We had the touch here. Again, it's touched, it base along the top. If it comes through, again, this is a kind of a break here. Now, again, how much movement we're going to get, and is it, the ideal time right now? Here, we'll change this one to yellow. Actually, this is more of a, more wanted to go long off that one, but we'll change this to yellow. Again, if it bounces through and pulls back to 13,982, again, look for this to punch through. And again, I think the big kind of target for this one is right here, 14,100. Okay, 14,100 is what we got on top side, and I think today could be a day. Could make it. Now, Dow you're seeing is just going straight down. Okay, now we talked about this one coming back up. We had this old level here. We had the bit of a gap. There was your touch. There was your second touch, and boom, collapsing to the downside. It's not at an all-time high level type scenario. The last time that we had major buying step in was over here at 31,570. Again, it's one of those ones. I just feel, like I said, I like this level for the short. I don't know. I'm wondering if YM is going to be the. Let me see. How close are we up top? So it's rolling right now. Question is, trying to see if there was an area where I'd be like, oh yeah, if it comes to here, yeah, definitely look at it. 33,669. Problem with the Dow is I don't really have a great level there. Let me see. Yeah, it's an alright level. Time is it now? 10. It's a tough one. Like I said, the other two were kind of in a stand. They're in a position now where they could potentially roll from this spot, where this one is continuing to drive lower. And if those two roll, drug down by this one, I mean, this is a lot of movement pretty quickly, right? I mean, here's your open. This one is nothing but shoot straight down. I just wish I had a decent level. I mean, like I said, this is one area, but the risk level on it is just way too much. I guess there's something down here. I guess there's a. I mean, again, this is not the original touch of it. Yeah, this is not the. This is kind of a second touch. Do we go long here? I mean, maybe that may be the spot. I mean, it's nice push off of it, just a little bit above. Front run, touch, and explosion. Front run, front run. Yeah, I mean that. Let me see. Let's see. Not small cap. Wall Street. I'm trying to check knockouts and stuff for this one. What's it at? 33,597. 33. It's 33,580. But the problem is that 580 is right there. 580 is right there. It's a knockout right there. And then the next one is 480, which is down here. Oops. 480 is sitting right there, which is definitely out of the park. Let's see what we got call spread wise. Call spread, indice, Wall Street. There is a 33.6. There is a 33,600 here. Right. So there is actually a call spread down there. So yeah, so if we drive into that level, yeah, there's potentially something for an end of day rally out of it. Right. So a couple plays on that one. Oops, just so I can mark this off correctly. My God, it's just not my morning. That's it. I'll be able to follow it that way. Yeah, so we continue to push down in the 33,600. There could be an opportunity there. Again, FOMC would drive it. It would be an end of the day type rally situation. Again, there's a call spread here, which again the call spread closes at 4:15. So again, gives us like 2 hours, 2 hours 15 minutes. There's a knockout just a little bit lower, and again the risk will get probably pretty small on that one. The question is, can we, if it comes down and starts the base down here, what if FOMC helps drive this down and it starts the base in here, that would be where to take the call spread. But the initial shock, right? The initial shock, it could whip through. The call spread, you're protected. The knockout, you're not. So that's kind of where you got to pick one or the other one for this one. Again, I would not take this in the futures market. I think this is quite a risky trade. FOMC time, if you're down in this level and you take it in futures, you could easily just jump 30, 40 points to the downside. So, it could go either way, but I think the risk there is a lot high. So I would go with a limited risk situation with this one. Let's talk about oil. Oil kicks off in a little bit. As you can see, we are now pushing up into that level, that 63.71. API is expected to be bigger. It is basically done nothing but go straight up since this morning from here, right? This is the European Open right here, and that's what we've done in the morning session. So I would say it is definitely more set up. If we do break through this lower level, I think we're good there. But at this point, I would say it's kind of looking like it wants to go more down than anything else. Let's drop it down to a 15. Yeah, we're starting to get that stabilization in there. So it's kind of more set up for a drop, right? For short, we know the API number last night. I showed that to you guys right here, right? That crude oil supplies rose by 43. It did report, though, that we had a down draw in gasoline and distillates, but again, the crude oil aspect of it was high. Can't believe, Todd. Yeah, Biden says he's going to pay for that $4 trillion thing, but it's going to be a gasoline tax. It's like, oh, you're kidding me, really? Like, we don't pay enough. I think half the price per gallon you pay already is taxes. So, yeah, let's just tax more things. But hey, that medical marijuana that we can tax, don't do that, because then I would have to say that I'm wrong, and all those people that I jailed for years in California would have to be let out. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like you have enough people that want that, and you could tax it, and there's many states making lots of money, but they won't do it because then they have to admit they were wrong in the past. Like that's called politics. That's not called smart management. So yeah, um, I don't know. I feel like there's ways that you could help people with that. Again, I don't want to turn political, but it's kind of like, I mean, there's been times in the past where like like prohibition had happened. I mean, this is one of those things that it was a political reason why it's outlawed. It has nothing to do with science or anything else. It was a political reason. It was so they could export people, immigrants, originally. But now, because of the prison decisions that the president and vice president have made, it's kind of it really kind of goes back on their career and unwrites a lot of what they did. And I don't know, put rules in it. Like if you're busted with a little tiny bit, then yeah, let the person go. If you're busted with like I don't know 5 tons worth of pot, then maybe that's the person that you don't let out, right? Maybe there's a limit, right? But like the kid that was selling selling pot on the side of the street, I feel like that's the kid that you give that guy another chance. But maybe the drug cartel leader with the multiple cargo containers first, maybe that guy we could leave in there, right? But I don't know. I feel like if you have the ability to create taxes off of something that many states are already doing and making tons of money off of, why wouldn't we just use that? Why make other things more expensive when we have something right there that doesn't affect people, right? Smart and politics are like bacon and vegans. Yeah, exactly, Ernest, right? Sorry, I have a friend of mine. She's like, I've never eaten fish in my life, but these vegan fish balls are great. I'm like, if they're vegan, why call them fish balls? Like, I don't like. I get it. You're trying to be something else, but just call it what it is. Like you don't need to try to trick me into trying them because I'm not. Never understood that one. It's like, wait, you want me to not eat fish, but then you just made me a fish patty shaped like a fish, or you made it look like a fish. Like, why don't you just make it what it is? And then if it tastes good, I'm not going to care what it is. Why do you have to make it look like something else? I'm like, oh, that's fish. Like, I don't know. It's just me, right? So yeah. So that's where oil is. Like I said, oil is kind of up in an area. We're getting close to that upper range. It's not stabilizing yet. It should be. It started to stabilize and now it's been pushing higher. But I think I think this has every right to push back down again, and whether it's this level or it comes up here, again, the 64.35, I think is a better level kind of to turn and flip, and maybe I don't know, maybe in the next 8 minutes we'll get a jump of I don't know, that's a big jump. That's like 40 cents, 30 cents. No, it's 40 cents. 40 cents in 6 minutes would be a lot, but I think yeah, this one is set up more. And again, maybe the news pushes it higher, we stop and then roll back down. But I think we got to figure out how to get short oil here. Gold. So gold is rallying back up again. Miraculously, look what it turned off of. Right off the 1761. Um, you know, there's that level again. There was your Harry Potter trade. There was your exit. It hadn't exited earlier today, but now it's officially out. Good big question is, has it hit its 3-to-1 on the top side? I believe it has actually. Um, yeah, there's your three. Your 3-to-1 is right there. Right there was your 3-to-1. And again, touched and boom, off to the races. So you're already out of the gold trade. Now the gold trade is interesting. So it is flying right now, which is kind of funny. It's already starting to move. This is the move I wanted for FOMC, but now I'm wondering if some of the comments are like, oh no, it's going to go down. And again, we can't really use these two zones anymore, right? Again, there's your three, there's your break, 1, 2, 3, there's your break. Actually, the break is here, and then this one would have been the third is there. So I'll delete these off so we don't confuse anybody new watching the channel. I'll be like, hey, why do you have all these X's here? What do these X's mean? We don't need this line anymore. We still do need probably this one, although we'll probably change this around a bit. There's the original zone. There's a little gap there. I want to see what this one does over the next hour. We got some sellers up top, and again, this is that level. I was wondering if we could get a push through and then a pullback, but there's a couple sellers sitting in there. Man, it gets really ugly in this area right here, right? We got super clean again. We got this super clean area up here at 1795. The 1761 again. We just hit it at 8:30 this morning. right? 8:30 it came down right before 9, touched it and went. Um, hmm. Yeah, I think there's too much movement. I think at this point we need to figure out where it's going to stabilize and get in a position we can maybe use this zone again. But this is going to be one of those ones to watch. I'm telling you, the way the charts are looking at this right now, it looks like again, it is starting to lean more and more and more into a weak dollar type announcement today. Um, we got like what, two or three currency pairs with nice little weak dollar trade setups. Gold is now spiking, which again, weak dollar helps gold, right? Um, yeah, I mean it's coming back. It's almost at even here. So yeah, very interesting position. Let's see, silver. Yeah, silver's like, oh God, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's going back, and it's still going right down the middle between the 26.54 and the 25.50. So silver is not as clean. It's got a bigger drop because again, it hasn't done the retracement. It's kind of stopped and stayed in that same area. Um, but gold's kind of an interesting setup right now. So hopefully you guys grabbed the gold trade from earlier below when we talked about that one. And again, that 1760 is not a new level. We've talked about this 1760 for a long time. It's been there for like 4 or 5 days at this point. Every morning we've mentioned the same level for gold at 1761. So I hope that you guys got it and took that $10 rally to the top side. So um, I don't now. Now I'm really curious because it's like, man, all these seem to be setting up for very negative kind of dollar plays here. I mean, again, they're talking about a lot of inflation over here. We expect a recount on the economy in H2. What does he say about inflation? But inflation will remain low. Mm, hmm. Yeah, they're saying and again, remember, like they can say this that hey, listen, inflation's low and things, but again, look at the data we had for where is it? I mean, the business climate is down, so I mean, it's easy to make comments like that. And even when we saw where is it? Like some of this data was good, but Flash Services was breaking that 50 mark again. Everything looks wonderful in here, and it's like, yeah, we're good. Um, but then you see like CPI for Germany or for the pound is down. Where is it? Where's the German GDP number? I may have missed it. Basically, the German GDP was down 1.6. So I can't find it there. It was a negative number. So yeah, it's easy to say that. Oh no. We're expecting it's a recovery. There'll be some inflation. It's whatever. Um, I don't think they actually know that. I think the inflation thing will go crazy quicker than they expect. Um, and again, very negative with this one too. I'm very surprised by this. It's the worst. We don't know if the worst is here yet. Really? I don't know. I feel like if the worst economic, whoops, I feel like if the worst is not here yet, we're in major trouble, right? Because think about how much drama the last year has caused with economies and work and unemployment and stimulus and all that kind of stuff. If the worst is not here, how much worse can it be? And think about like when we were at kind of like the peak of how bad things were, right? And if she can make a statement like this, what is it that we don't know, right? I mean, lots and lots of people. I mean, at this point, I think in the United States, everybody, like almost all adults, have had the opportunity if they wanted it to get the vaccine. Like, what have we not? What do we not know? If it's too early to determine if the worst is here yet, it's kind of like, huh. I mean, I think we're much better off now than we were 6, 8 months ago. Could we go back to the 6, 8 months ago while everything locked down again completely? All restaurants, all bars, all services, everything shut down? I don't know. I just don't feel like we're going that direction. Like at this point, I think everybody's like, you know what, YOLO, right? I mean, Texas, Florida, I think are both fully wide open with no restrictions whatsoever. Um, yeah, I don't know. Now I'm very curious. What do we not know in this situation? And again, gold is come up in that and then pause in there. Silver is silver's totally confused. Silver's like, I don't know. I don't just tell me where do I go? Where do I go? Where do I go? Let's see what oil's doing. There's oil right there. The COVID hangover will kick in, and that is when. Yeah, probably Ernest. Like I said, it's going to kick in just because again we know. I mean, we are in such an over hot situation right now. with interest rates and things like that. I mean, the economy was cooking crazy before, with Trump and like, oh yeah, how long is this going to, go and stuff like that. And then we switch guys, and now there's no talk of it running too hot. It's like, wait, you were saying before, and like recovery is much. I mean, the comments of recovery is much better than expected. Like, eventually we're gonna have to pay the piper, and on top of that, like, what are we doing? I mean, Biden is spending money faster than he can write the check out. You know, um, and Todd was funny. He's like, yeah, but it's bipartisan. Of course it is, because you don't want to be the guy that says, no, I voted against fixing the roads. I don't want Detroit. It's like, come on, they don't have any other option, right? Again, politicians, oh, here we go. Let's see what the oil is. They're gunning for midterm elections, right? Biden knows that he can get every single check passed right now, so it doesn't matter if you vote for or against what Biden's going to do. He can get it through. So it's kind of like it's easier to say, yeah, I voted for making the country better, versus saying, nope, I think he's an idiot. Oh, there we go. So again, a little bit of a surplus, not a crazy. I mean, again, I'm supposed to be down 1 mil. It was kind of up just a little tiny bit, so about a $1 million difference in that one, and that'll help a little bit. That'll help a little bit, right? I was expecting a little bit more than that. With the API number being 4, I was looking more for like 1.5, 1.9, something like that. Not a 0.1. Eh. Yeah, it's gonna go up because it's a little bit lower. You're like, wait, why is it going up? It's because everybody's sort of like, oh, I gotta get short. It's red. So yeah, so probably 64.35 would probably be the one to roll off of. I expected the roll. I mean, again, it's a negative number, but it's not an earth shattering number. This is not, you know, this is the retail trade. I said, oh god, I got a short, and that's why it's going higher. This is not, you know, nothing super crazy. I mean, that's pretty much dead on. So I was hoping for a much bigger miss. Wah wah wah. Yeah. Oh well. All right. So with that said, I was hoping we get a blockbuster number there and get some crazy candles, but it looks like we are not going to get any crazy candles. Oh well. So all eyes will be shifting forward to go to the FOMC press conference. Like I said, Fed fund rates are not changing. The statement will be important, but the press conference is where I think they could really get dinged. Oh, and now Biden's speaking at 9 o'clock tonight. So, all right, can we go long gold right now? Yeah, if Biden is speaking at 9 p.m. tonight, he's going to talk about how much money we're going to spend. It's going to be all about how much money we're going to spend. And again, remember, they're going to keep these rates low. Inflation is when you spend lots of money, inflation is not bad because the value of money is much less. Just let that sink in, right? The more inflation you have, it means that your money supply is not worth as much as it was before, which means your debt is not worth as much as it was before. So let that sink in a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing. Figure out what the heck the dog is barking at. We got 8 people in right now. Silence here today, guys. Uh-oh. Silence sneaking in. Ecky's sneaking in. Where's Ross? We gotta send Ross a message. Be like, Ross, we haven't caught you. Where you been lately? I'll give you guys 50 more seconds. Let's see. I'm gonna see if this is moving yet. Yeah. See if it's. I'm curious to see where the stall is. That's what I'm curious for. Give me the stall. Ernest is like, oh yeah. Remember, it's Wednesday, guys. It is a 50 pip chip day, right? It is Wednesday, so it is the 50 pip chip day. It's not 25. It's the 50. 10 seconds more. Nara's like, yeah, I can throw one in there. I can throw one in there just to kind of mess with the percentages, right? Ernest has a twice as big a chance of beating Nero, but a 4 times chance of beating everybody else. All right, let's see if Marina can take it with her one today. Play spoiler. All right. Oh, I missed it by 1 second. All right, I got a 5-second delay. I know it takes longer for you guys, but let's see who is the winner of today's drawing. And again, if it's Ernest, guys, it's just statistics at this point. What? Where's brothers? Their brothers are at school. Do you want to hit the button to see who wins? Yeah, you want to hit it? Okay, come here. We're gonna let the baby pick it today. All right, I need you to do it. Here, I need you to hit this button right here. Can you hit this button? Winner of today's drawing is. No, click it again. Do it again. Right here. Push right there. Whoops. Ooh, it's Sean. So we can say rigged, but then that was totally on the baby. So I don't know. The babies are their anti-Ernest. anti Uncle Ernest, or I don't know. She just likes Sean. Market is complete. Let's go across and give Sean his 50 pip chips. Where is Sean? Right there. Look at that. Wealth Builder had just passed him too. All right. There we go. Look at that. Battle is heating up right there. Oops, not that one. Yeah, I'm gonna see where this halts. Yeah, man, talk about disappointing. Yeah, I was really hoping for a much bigger push on this one, but yeah, this is interesting. So yeah, so let's see. This is setting up for a weak dollar here because remember, hey, we're not going to change. We're not going to make money more expensive. We don't want to crash your economy, and then Biden's going to be like, hey, how much can I write this check for? Yeah, that's what we're going to hear. How big can I do it? Here you go. Look, he plans to fully pay for his $4 trillion in new spending. And every time he talks, this number goes up. I don't know. Maybe tonight it'll be up at 5. I mean, why stop at 4 when you can go to 5 and nobody can stop you, right? Maybe go to 6. Do I hear 6? This is like an auction, right? We need to get James in here for the auction. So yeah. So again, guys, 2 p.m. If you guys are locked into profit, please make sure you guys are protected. I think there's going to be some decent movement today. And then don't forget, 9 p.m. Biden speaking. That's going to cause some major ripples. So again, we'll look at those charts, see where we're at with levels wise, and yeah, let's see how big how much more money he's going to ask for tonight. We haven't spent the other stuff yet, so I don't know. It's crazy. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow morning is Thursday. This is, I think this is tomorrow. This week may be the final times that I go in. Jin has her first. Next Tuesday is her first official No Daddy Day in there. And we'll have to see how the No Daddy Day goes. So this Thursday, Friday may be the last no chart school days, but we'll have to see how it goes. I may have to be in there a little bit to wait till she gets accustomed to it. But yeah, we're getting close. But Tuesday, we're going to try. I still actually need her medical reports, but Tuesday could be, that's our first absolutely No Daddy Day that I'm dropping her off because it's May. So wish me luck on that one. All right, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care. If you need anything, message me on Discord.